Hello, and welcome back to the N Squared. We should really rethink this part of the intro. Your definitive Starship review series without access to a proper table. And whoa, look at this exotic new camera angle for a ship that really is hard to frame. You know, I had an amazing plan. I saw the Lower Deck Season 2 trailer. I'm like, brilliant. I can record a Reliant review, and then release it the Monday after the episode, whatever episode has the Miranda class. I can release it then. I'd be brilliant. I could get a bit of search engine optimization. Then, first episode Lower Decks as the Miranda class. They ruined all my plans, but you know what? I got so into the idea of a Miranda class review, I'm doing it anyways. So yes, today we're taking a look at mostly the XL Miranda and comparing it a bit to the normal Miranda, which I actually had to dig out of storage. I've got a lot of the Miranda class variants. Right now I think I've got the Bozeman out on storage, and yeah, as you can see, this roll bar. I think I got this secondhand actually, and it was broken when I got it. But, the point is the XL Reliant. And before we get into the ships, noticing that one is sneaking into frame, let's do our normal size comparison. There we go. The Miranda class is about the same size as the Discovery Shuttle. And for an earlier issue, it was also about the same size as the USS Brawn, which you can see right here. Hopping over to the Universe Collection, well, this is a bit easier. The Miranda is also about the same size as the Zhang He, which you can see right here, and pretty similar in size to the Enterprise's D, NX, and J. This is an awkward camera angle. I should stop using it. And I should add, as we get into the review, that I am part of the Eaglemoss affiliate program, which means that in the description below there's a link that has an affiliate link for both of these models. If you choose to purchase either of these because of this video and you go through that link, either of those links, I get a 7% commission on the sales. I'm allowed to do whatever the heck I want with these videos, besides like promoting terrorism or stuff like that, but just bear that in mind. Anyways, the XL Miranda class Reliant, a beautiful model. The Reliant, a beautiful ship, and of course a fan favorite. I think it was one of the early ones to get covered. You can see a lot of detail in here. I'll mention it first. This top section, this whole top bit, is entirely metal cast, die cast rather. The roll bar is plastic, as is of course the nacelles and pylons. Whereas you can actually see the rim where this bit is plastic and everything else is a one-piece metal. And my Reliant has a bit popped out. I think I got it like that. I could probably have replaced it or fixed it myself, but it's not a big issue, especially as it's on the bottom. So you can see the Reliant with a lovely shine, just that film light reflecting off it. One thing, we'll start with a problem, I guess, is there's no red pinstriping, I think they call it, on the Reliant, or indeed the registry on the bottom, which is technically an improvement, as there's no pinstriping on the small model at all, but it is still a bit annoying that it isn't there. The Aztecing is much more pronounced on the XL Reliant. Very nice, of course. You can't really see it on the small one. It's there, but you need the right angle, and you kind of have to be looking for it. So it's nice to see the big one has it here. The big model also has more pinstriping detail. You can see above the little greeblies there, which themselves pop out more and are more detailed. The roll bar has a lot more detail. You can see RCS thrusters, Starfleet logo, the bumpiness here, real small text. Starship USS Reliant in the registry, real small there, that are completely absent, there we go, on the smaller version, which also doesn't have the blue highlight on the front. It doesn't have all the bits colored in on the top there. It doesn't have the RCS thrusters. So yeah, all limitations of the smaller model that have been fixed on this bigger one. Another big improvement is you've got blue shuttle bay doors, which is brilliant. I don't know why the small model doesn't have those. It really, the blue shuttle bay doors are such a big thing. You've got a really nice impulse crystal right there with loads of detailing. It's all painted. It's not actually bumpy, but a beautifully detailed impulse crystal with all those grills, compared as well to the smaller one, which has a much more plain, just blue and gray, no detail, smaller one. You've also got a close-up of this bridge right here, very nicely detailed. You can even see little windows. Almost looks like it should be a window on the front there, but of course this is classic movie Trek, that's not a thing, thankfully. And just beautifully greeblies as you go across. Just the bumps, almost kind of reminds me of Death Star paneling, of course. A very classic movie thing to be Star Wars-ish for those classic TMP movies. Taking a look at the port view, you've got loads of window detailing, fairly basic, but I think screen accurate. You've also got that detailing on the smaller model, but actually this one has it really far off right there. I don't know if that's a misprint or the windows are just kind of designed to be a bit down and to the left, but either way, it looks a lot better on this, in my personal opinion. You've got the small text there, also missing on the smaller model. RCS thrusters slightly misaligned. I don't know if that's supposed to happen or not, actually. And similar things on this side of the model. The nacelles have that transparent plastic. I'm not sure if it goes all the way through the model or not, but either way, it leaves that beautiful, very TMP look of the shiny nacelles. They reflect, it makes it look like it glows in lighting, not just the film lighting I have, just proper lighting, and that nice effect that most Eaglemoss ships have. Focusing on the bottom, rather simple, but there's not much going on the ship anyway. It is slightly curved, so it dips down and then comes back up, like the TOS airships often did, whereas this one's just a simple ramp. But it does feel nice to hold in that regard. You've got your RCS thrusters, some sort of sciencey module. I don't actually know what those are called. You've got an impulse crystal, which weirdly enough doesn't actually look as good as the one on the top, in my opinion. Kind of weird, but still looks good. And I think finally the front of the nacelles have black, yes, that's just black plastic, not transparent. It looks right to me. I'm pretty sure it's just black. Bassard collectors, I guess they'd be in TMP era ships, but I'd have to check. If we just take a quick look at the small model then, actually that is interesting. It almost looks like there's more detail, but I think that's just because they've painted these divots white. Yeah, rather than actually putting divots in? Hang on. Never mind, they haven't painted inside the divots, so it pops out more. It almost makes it look more detailed, but I think it's just a lack of being able to paint inside here. It does look a bit wrong compared to that one. Also differences in colorings, where they painted these bits gray, but not those bits. I'm not 100% sure which is screen accurate. I might try and throw a picture up, but the bottom of the Reliant might be hard to get. Also noticing, the smaller model is proportionately more metal. You can see the divide running here along that pinstriping, where this bottom bit is plastic, but the entire rest of that top piece is metal, except of course the roll bar, nacelles, and pylons. So I guess in the end of the day, the question is which model should you get? I mean, I collect both for various reasons, but, you know, I'm not here to review ships for the completionists. You're gonna buy them anyway. Hands down the big one. The big one just adds more detail, it's better looking, it's the Reliant. You're not gonna be disappointed with a big Reliant. And is the small one. It's nice in its own way. Of course, it's smaller. A lot of the problems with it are just you can't fit that much detail in a small model. I think it's fine and looks good, but Eaglemoss has so many other Miranda classes. I own the Saratoga, which is packed away, but just behind me I've got the Bozeman, which of course a famous ship. It gets referenced a lot. It's surprising. Like, it almost feels like a Star Trek show happening off screen. But yeah, I've got the Bozeman, which is a Miranda class variant. I think it's technically a Soyuz class, but let's be honest, it's a Miranda class variant. Needs a bit of a dusting, but it's a bit more different. It adds a bit of variety. With its sensors, these aren't actually guns. The Saratoga is also pretty similar. If you want a small Miranda class and you also want the big one, I mean, those are also an option. I think there's also the Concept Reliant I have, which is basically this, but upside down. It's a bit more different than that. I might do a video covering all the Reliants, but you have so many options for small Reliants. that this almost feels a bit redundant, because the big reason I collect small ships, even when I have the XLs, is because I like to display them as a lineage. I'll keep making work for myself, but I'll throw a picture up. You can kind of see I display the ships chronologically as well as by species, and I can't just throw the XLs into that chronological mix. It'll look weird. But with so many Miranda classes, it's not in my current setup just because of limited space, as you can tell. You know, it's one more Reliant in the pile. So yeah, I think they're both great models, but really, hands down, this big one takes the cake if you're only gonna buy one. And if you're looking for a small Reliant, this is still great. It'll do you the job. But if you're also looking for a small Miranda class of kind of any kind, the Bozeman or the Saratoga, or even the concept ship, could also just spice things up a little bit. And as you'll see, they're all based on the small Reliant as a base, so they're all about that same size, which I think I forgot to show is this big compared to an Eaglemoss stand. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions about any of these models, just ask me in the comments. I'll try to answer it. If you want me to review a specific model, just ask me. I've got over half of the collection across all the ranges. And if you ask, I'll certainly do it if I have it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.